Well, good day, scholars. I am unable to be with you in person today, but I am here with you by video, so let's get started. Before we do, make sure that you have already used the restroom because we don't need to go during class. Make sure you have picked up any handouts on the table and that you have found your new seat. Under the circumstances, we are going to skip the Patriot preview today, and I'm sure there are no complaints about that. However, there will be a classwork assignment after today's lesson, and it will be graded, so make sure you take your time and do your best on that. Please don't do it ahead of time, because that's what we'll be covering in today's lesson. Before we begin, let me give you a quick reminder about your seating. We have Team Red and Team Blue, and as soon as I am back, we'll be using our teams for competitions, teamwork, different assignments, and possibly even some debates. So stay tuned, and we'll be doing that as soon as possible. Before we get into the lesson, let's take another sneak peek at this quarter's reading, which we will begin next week. The story takes place in the early 1940s. Unlike the Hunger Games, this is a true story. Anne Frank is a 13-year-old girl. She is being held in secrecy, but she has not been kidnapped. She is there for her protection. She is being protected because she is Jewish, and members of the Nazi Party want to eliminate the Jewish race. But while she is being hidden, she keeps a diary in which she describes her daily experiences. Today, we are going to take a brief virtual visit to the actual house where Anne was hidden. It has now been made into a museum in her honor and memory. The actual diary that she wrote is still there on display today. So let's go to Amsterdam.
The Anne Frank house is located in Amsterdam at 263 Prisongracht. While the house may appear to be small, the museum is quite large. It has many artifacts to include videos, photographs, and documents. The one downside to the museum is the actual house is not handicap accessible. You'll need to walk up many stairs, and hallways are quite narrow. This is the hidden doorway where the family gained entry into the annex to hide from German forces. As you can tell, it's quite difficult to gain access. If you want to visit the Anne Frank house, you need to buy your tickets in advance. They used to sell tickets on a first-come, first-served basis, but the lines got to be unbearably long. Even with buying tickets in advance, you can still encounter some lines. Tickets are €10, or about $11.50. For kids 10 to 17, it's €5. Anyone under the age of 10, it's free.
This week, we are studying Subject-Verb Agreement. Under the circumstances, we are going to postpone tomorrow's test and just continue covering the topic. And we will pick up on the test at a later date once I am back in the classroom with you. So let's get down to business. We first began by laying the foundation and discussed what a subject is and what a verb is. And so we began with a sentence that went something like this. The large plane flies across the sky. We learned that we began analyzing a sentence by drawing a line between the subject, which is the simple subject in this case, and the verb. So plane is our subject, and flies is our verb. We learned that the subject in a sentence is who or what is doing the action, and the verb in a sentence is the action that is being done. So in this case, plane is the word that is doing the action. Flies is the action that is being done. Therefore, plane is our subject, and flies is our verb. Building on to that, we learned that a subject and a verb must agree in number. And number in English class is not necessarily the same thing as number in math class. In math class, numbers can be like 1, 2, 3, 10, 50, 100, 1,000. In English, we're only concerned with two amounts. Is there one of the item, or is there more than one of the item? If there is only one of something, we say that it is singular. If there is more than one of something, we say that it is plural. Again, singular means there's only one of something. Desk, bear, house. Plural means there is more than one of something. Desks, bears, houses. We can also create a plural subject by putting and between two subjects. Bob and Harold walked to the store. That's plural because there are two individuals walking to the store. So as a good example of plural, if we are talking about that thing that we throw across a field to score a touchdown, football is the singular form. Footballs is the plural form. Taking it one step further, we are able to write this concept in the form of a rule. If a subject is singular, the verb must also be, that's right, singular. If a subject is plural, the verb must also be, right again, plural. Singular subject must have singular verb. Plural subject must have plural verb. In many cases, there is actually a very easy sort of cheat code we can use to change from singular to plural. In most cases, we change it from singular to plural by moving the S off of the end of the verb and putting it on the end of the noun. Remember, in most cases, just move the S. It's that simple. For example, one fox runs, foxes, ES in that case, run. One river does what? Flows, that's correct. 2 rivers flow. That's right. 1 camper sleeps. 5 campers sleep. Again, all we have done is move the S from one word to the other to switch from singular to plural, or plural back to singular. Let's finish this portion of our review with a video. So watch closely, and hopefully in a sort of fun way, this will recap what I have just told you.
Today's topic is understanding subject-verb agreement. Martha works from home. Martha is the subject because she is the person that is doing the action. Verbs are action words, so work is the verb. The subject and the verb of a sentence must always agree for the sentence to be grammatically correct. Martha is a singular subject, so the verb must be singular. Therefore, you need to add S to the verb. Martha works from home. Frank and Eva fly to Spain in November. Frank and Eva are plural subjects, and the verb is to fly. With plural subjects, the subject and verb must still agree. So when the subject is plural, you don't need to add S to the verb. So Frank and Eva fly to Spain in November on business. So if the subject is singular, the verb should be singular. And if the subject is plural, the verb should always be plural. The problem is, not all verbs are used in a regular way, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Some of the most common verbs are irregular, such as be, go, do, have. Verbs and subjects must still agree, but you have to remember the way the irregular ones work. Look at the correct verb form for the third person, singular, for these irregular verbs. For example, I go to the local shops every day. However, my neighbour goes to the supermarket once a week. My puppy Alfie has soft fur. Oh. But these kittens have even softer fur. So remember to always make your subject and verb agree. Well done. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.